I also want to ask you about whether you experienced any language issues because, sometimes, especially in written mocks, we can see that candidates are struggling with expressing themselves in English, in proper English. It's not everyday English, it's something different. Do you have anything to say in this respect? Any suggestions for candidates, for people who are thinking of taking up SQE1, SQE2?
My first language is not English, so I can really relate myself to the people who struggled or are struggling with, speak or writing in English. So, but luckily, because I work in the UK, so English is sort of like my working language, and also I work as a solicitor, as an Australian solicitor. So I knew, how to sort of phrase my thoughts, how to present my ideas in the mock test. But I did found myself when I wrote those my answers, I didn't really structure it in a very clear way. Sometimes it could be misleading or misunderstanding for the people who actually seeing your answers. And so I think I would encourage, the people who, especially the people who first language is not English, I would highly recommend people to just to conduct as many mock tests as possible, especially, and also not just doing the mock test once. If you're doing once, okay, just stay, like leave it alone for maybe a couple of weeks, and then you can always come back and then do it again and again. And you will always find something you forgot, and then that is where you can learn.
You mean that you can learn from mocks in two ways. You can learn in a legal way, and for non-native speakers of English, you can also learn the language, which is appropriate in these situations,
Yes,
right? But
exactly.
generally, do you think that non-native speakers of English, before starting preparation for the SQE, have to pay attention to whether their English is good enough for them to take this examination? Do they need to upgrade their legal English or their English skills in general? What do you think?
I think it really depends. So, for example, students, if they are studying in university, they have time, to really take their language level to the next, then of course they should always, upgrading their English to as far as possible. But I guess for most candidates who are willing or who are intending to participate in SQE2 or SQE1, they don't really actually have the much time to actually say, oh, I'm just going to practice my English without doing anything else. It's really not efficient in my way, but also not going to be helpful, because without actually immerse yourself into the SQE preparation, you can't actually really learn proper legal English. And that's where I learned. My English was not great when I started my MCT, but my English since then I started. It's just improved significantly. I think that's because of reading and also listening and also practicing. That all helped.